parks manager?
Yeah, can we, well, we'll do introductions
Okay.
in the beginning. But I'll let Debbie start with the date, time, and all that stuff. All right,
Okay.
Debbie?
That means it's a go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to, all right, today is December 10th, 2025. The time now is 7:08 p.m. And this is the Parks, Recreation, Sanitation, and Environmental Protection Committee meeting. That's a mouthful. My name is Debbie Kowalik. I'm the co-chair. To my right are
Jacqueline Lutnick.
Dwayne Williams.
Dara Lowe. And to my left are
Julie Campbell.
Joe Thompson.
and mine is
Dear Taylor.
okay.
Tina Stevens.
Matt said he wanted to introduce the parks people. So Matt, can you introduce the parks people, please?
Sorry, this is Cynthia Rodriguez, the chair of the board.
And you do have somebody that just called in, so if they want to identify themselves, I can rename them. Or you should be able to rename them too.
Hello, can you hear me? This is Jose Rodriguez of Bowling St. John.
Okay.
I can't hear.
It's Jose from Bolton St. John. That's Propel, New York.
Propelled New York, right. Hey, Debbie, this is Matt. It's the same Matt that you guys had since 2017, but could you guys all hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, well, yeah, when I was there sitting in that room with you, I introduced myself as the manager of CB11 all the way back then, and I've been living with you, and I know everything there is to know about you guys and Jeremy and everything. And I am super excited to introduce Charles Hondras. He is the new parks manager for Community Board 11, and he comes from PEP. He has a lot of enforcement background. He has a lot of background with history of the agency. He is just a total asset to this agency. And I am super excited that he's going to be your next Community Board 11 Parks Manager. So I'll let Charles say a couple things if that's all right. And then I'll just stay on the call in case there's anything that I know all the way to the end that he might not know, just because I've been with you guys for so long. And that's about it. So I'll bow out and I'll let Charles say a few words.
Wow, hard to follow up with that intro, Matt. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Charles. I'll be the new manager for CB11. Looking forward to getting to know each and every one of you. I've met a few of you, I think, before. So I'm looking forward to getting to know everybody and getting to know the district a little bit more. It's good to see so many people that are so involved with our parks, and looking forward to working with you all.
Thank you very much, Charles. Review of the meeting minutes. It's not printed out and it was not hyperlinked, but I do know that Deanna did share the minutes, and I think the few things I needed to be corrected were corrected, and that's about it. But like I said, it's not printed out and it's not hyperlinked, so I can't look at it.
Is it possible for him?
It is not posted. It is not posted.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not posted. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue on. Oh, wait. Excuse me. I forgot the reading of the conduct statement. I'm sorry. Community meetings must be held in a professional and hassle-free environment. The following rules of conduct are to members of the public, Community 11, Community Board 11 staff. Any action or behavior that disrupts or interferes with the Community Board 11 business will not be tolerated during any Community Board 11 meeting and may result in the individuals being asked to leave. If the action or behavior continues, this may be considered disturbing the peace and appropriate authorities may be summoned. If the meeting is being held remotely, that person may be muted or expelled for the remainder. Repeated violations by the same person or group of people may result in further action by the community board. The speakers must address the full board or the committee with concerns. Electioneering for a position other than an office of community board is prohibited. Engaging in acts of violence, including threats, are grounds for immediate suspension of the right to attend meetings, pending a review by the bylaws committee. Respect the equity, diversity, and privacy of all people by respecting and valuing differences of culture and opinion. Refrain from unpleasant or disparaging remarks and other actions. Abstain from all forms of harassment, actively discouraging it. Disseminating false information is prohibited. Okay, that was the conduct statement. Now moving on to propel energy transmission. I see Jose is here from that. So Jose, you wanna enlighten us as to this project? Jose,
Hello, can you hear me?
now I hear you.
Hi, how are you? Just I'm obviously I called in. I just wanted to know because I can't see it. Is Philip Ellis and or Jamal Wilkerson and Leah Cossack on as well?
I can't hear you.
I see Jamal is on. What was the other name, Jose?
Philip and Leah are both on.
Philip Ellison.
Yeah, he said if the team members were on the call, and we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
if I'm on the call, I just, if I may, and I know you can barely hear me, and I apologize about that. Again, my name is Jose Rodriguez. I'm with Bolton St. John's. I am the consultant on this particular project. It's Propel New York. Propel New York is a project that's designed with, you have the New York Power Authority as well as Transco and WSP, which is their engineer on record. The New York Propel project is a project that is a retrofit of our energy transmission line, stretching from Westchester County, coming into Long Island, Suffolk, Napa, Queens, and then into the Bronx. That being said,
Jose,
I would like for my team to present.
Jose,
Okay.
Jose,
Yes,
Jose, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we are absolutely struggling to hear you. Can one of the other three people?
We can take it over.
Yes,
Yes.
please.
And David, if you could you just say what his role is again? Because I missed that. Also, David, it's good to see you.
Okay, I can't see. Jose's role at Bolton St. John's, he's the consultant on record for the Propel New York project.
I do government and public relations for the project.
Okay, so
New York City Parks, for any Propelled New York information or whatever's going on, if you think there's anything, we don't have anything. You would have to refer to the online stuff. We don't have any information.
Oh, yeah, I believe our team and WSP has already been talking to Parks for over the last year or more. So I think we're in coordination and communication at a high level. We're actually here to present. So I guess I just wanted to get clarity if we have the ability to present now.
yes, please present.
Okay. I don't know if Leah wants to, if we can be able to pull up. Okay,
There you
can
go.
everyone see our screen?
Yes.
All right.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so as Jose mentioned, and all of you know Jose, we are the Propel New York Energy Project. We'll get more into it. Essentially, we are a public-private partnership, and I'll move us forward to begin and move us through because we mindful of your time and we're very thankful to be here and have a conversation with you all. So, Team Propel New York Energy, we are the organizations that are co-leading this project. I'll give you a little bit about. I'll introduce myself in the process. Um, my name is Philip Ellison. I work at the New York Power Authority. I am work on the legislative and stakeholder affairs strategy for the Power Authority, with a focus on Manhattan and the Bronx, uptown. And when it comes to NYPA, for short, we're the largest state public power utility in the country. We operate 17 generating facilities, about 1,500 plus circuit miles of transmission lines, right? I'll get into more about the transmission lines, so in case we could all learn together. And we essentially, from a capacity standpoint at NYPA, we generate about 25% of the state's power, and 80% of that power is clean, renewable hydropower. So you think about, you know, that most of the power that we generate doesn't produce emissions bad for the environment, bad for our health, and challenging for our health. So we're proud of that. So when you think about Niagara Falls is what NYPA operates and uses generation. So New York Transco on the other side is a New York developer, owner, and operator of bulk electric transmission lines and facilities, and they own about and operate nearly 170 miles of transmission lines in New York and several substations. And my colleague from the private sector, New York Transco, Jamal Wilkerson's on, and he'll introduce himself later in the presentation. And WSP, we have Leah Kostick here supporting us. And WSP is headquartered in the U.S. in New York City, and they help clients plan and execute complex energy projects since the early 1900s. All right, and they're a leader in designing and maintaining power transmission systems. And so, what you have before you is this public-private partnership and collaboration between these three entities. Our consultant of record, WSP, but New York Transco and NYPA make up Propel New York, and we're all experts at building and owning and operating the electric transmission line system in New York State. Excuse me. So I want to get into what Propel New York is and what it is not, and I'll also walk through the transmission line energy delivery process.
David, can I ask a
So
quick
what are
question? Will you?
absolutely?
Can you? Is
Oh,
there? Is there
Dier,
yes. Hey, how you doing?
hey, brother, good to see you. Sorry,
It's been a long time.
been a long time.
Do you have? Will you be sharing this presentation out with us?
I believe
Or
so.
can
Right? I
or
believe
if
so.
there's a digital link, if you could drop that in the chat, that'd be helpful for taking notes.
Absolutely. I'm just realizing someone says Dier and I did something called City Year, which is an
Yeah.
AmeriCorps program in schools in Hunts many, many years ago. We hadn't seen each other in over more than 15 years. So nice to see you, brother. You're doing well. And, you've been an educator for years. Hope you're doing well.
Yep.
So go back to the presentation. We are not a battery storage project. We're not an offshore wind project. And we're not tied to any one generation source. We're permitted through the RAPID Act, which is a state legislation to really help accelerate our ability to support the infrastructure of our grid. But what we are is we are core infrastructure for all generation sources, and we are an underground electric transmission project, and we are a project that benefits local areas and the state. And we're permitted through the rigorous New York State Article 7 process. So that's the permit that we have to get that you'll hear more about from my colleague, Jamal Wilkerson, later on. So if we go down below of this slide, what you'll see is, and it's educational for all of us, and until I worked at NYPA, the generation, transmission, distribution process. So if you look to the left if you're facing the screen, you'll see generation, and you see representation of any kind of generation source: water, hydro, wind, etc. What you see to the right of that generation is the transmission process, and you see that a under ground cable connected to the generation source comes to a substation that will increase the voltage of the electricity drastically. And that will then go underground, which is, you used to see transmission lines above ground, right? When we driving on the highways, we've all grown up seeing transmission lines above ground, but now we put them underground for a number of reasons we can talk about. And it will then take that energy from the substation and carry it long distances to another substation, which will then lower the energy voltage so that it can be safely delivered to customers. And then you'll see that, that will then go to the distribution line and pole, which will then carry the electricity to homes and to customers, right? So the transformer on the distribution pole will lower the voltage even further and bring that to the home and the customer. So I just wanted to give you a sense of what we are, what we're not, and what does the delivery look like for transmission system. Next slide. What is transmission? And why is it really important, right? When we think of transmission, again, the equivalent of the electric highway is what I like to say, right? It's the equivalent of building the electric highways, right? Transmission is the core infrastructure vital for the 21st century needs of economic growth of communities, right? Why is it important? As you can imagine on the left, it's energy, power, electricity, critical component of daily life, 24/7, as we know, right? 365 days a year. I don't think you need to overstate how vital and how fundamental energy and power is to our system and to our daily lives. It's the essential highways, as I mentioned, that transports energy, and every dollar invested yields $2.40 in economic activity, and it really supports local family-sustaining jobs. And so, why do we need to do this improvement? Why is it necessary? Right? The reality is we have an aging infrastructure in our state. 80% of New York State's transmission lines were built and came into service before the 1980s, right? So you just sit with that for a moment. It's like the infrastructure that we've been using came online before the 1980s. There's an increase in demand, estimated about 50 to 90% growth in the next 20 years, right? Energy demand is growing. We got the numbers, we see it, and it's only going to increase. And part of that is that we have the electrification, right? Some of that is that when we think about our homes, I always say this to people, when you think about the homes you grew up in, how many electric devices now versus how many electric devices you have, then growing up versus you have now, right? And you think about Long Island leads in terms of electric vehicle devices, right? Electric transportation, right? In terms of ownership. And then there's reality of extreme weather, where it increased frequency of the ferocity of storms to vulnerable areas, right? Like we know in New York City, we're dealing with weather changes and extreme weather. Something happens, it knocks out above lines, transmission lines. We've got to put them underground as a matter of energy resilience and safety and consistency. And so that's part of the reason why. And lastly, just like any highway, right? We see our highways are congested with cars. Their electric highway, the transmission system, right, as it stands right now, is also dealing with congestion and bottlenecks where the energy supply is not moving efficiently on the system and the highway, so to speak. So just wanted to give you some core reasons of what energy transmission is, but why is it really important that we have to make these improvements. Next slide. So I'll talk a little bit more before I pass it off to my colleague about the need in transmission and how this process came about to be building the Propel New York project, right? In March 2021, the New York State Public Service Commission identified a need. And the Public Service Commission, if you've never heard, these are, entities that help regulate the energy markets and system and do the research to identify the needs so that we're managing our electric grid, right? Part of that. They identified that we have a need to bolster reliability and resilience, and that we have to unbottle constraints and add capacity and add transfer capability. So you see some of these dots, some of these round circles. You see some of the bottlenecks, some of the areas where energy is not moving efficiently, and there's some challenges. And then also in 2021, 2023, the New York State Independent Service Operator, which is also manages the electric grids, right? So these these organizations, the New York State Public Service Commission and the New York State Independent Service Operator, saw that need, and they put out a competitive bid process. And so Propel New York was selected amongst a number of bids as the more efficient and cost-effective solution. So that's just real. We're coming here with the most cost-effective solution for New Yorkers. And the reality is in October 2025, so recently, the New York State Independent Service Operator put out a reliability report. And the reliability, what they saw was that we have a number of energy projects happening in the state and around the city, right? The Champlain Hudson Power Express was Chippy for short, which is coming from Canada to bring hydro energy and so forth. Empire Wind, which is a wind project, Sun Wind project is a wind project, and Propel New York, which is a separate project. As they come online and enter service, they will provide the power and reliability margins it will improve substantially. But the reality is also, however, these margins are going to erode over time as electricity demand grows. So like we really need to update our grid, update our lines. And we see that, the reliability report states that there will be reliability violations and challenges that arise in New York City as early as 2026 and Long Island in 2027. So these are the things, or the reasons why we have to update our grid and what we're up against to make sure that we have reliable energy supply and delivery and through the transmission line network. So I'm going to pass it over now to my colleague Jamal Wilkerson.
Question with that. Go back to the other side. The side you just. The two dotted areas that are going through the Long Island Sound, what's that about?
So we can talk more about and show you the from coming from Long Island. This project is actually a 90-mile project. I think Jamal will get into that, and we'll show you some of the routing. Essentially, we're going to be building underground lines coming from the Long Island coast into the next slide was going to show you into Queens, Long Island, underwater into the Bronx and into Westchester. And Jamal will be able to take some of that on and show you a little bit about what does that look like.
I'm talking about the two areas heading to Connecticut. They're going.
Oh, I do Harbor, Norwalk Harbor,
right
in Connecticut.
Right. So you're putting wires through the water.
No, that's not. We can talk more about that, but that's not what we're doing. That's not part of our project. He can show you if you give a moment. We can show you what the project lines look like.
Okay, I've got a question. I got two. Have you discovered any negatives with this program so far, and or questionable parts of this program so far?
Could you repeat your question one time, please?
Have you discovered any questionable or negative parts to this project?
No.
Negative parts?
No.
Any
So I'll jump in. Go ahead.
Any questionable parts? Any parts that have to be worked out?
I mean, we have routing, right? Of course,
Yes.
we have to be mindful, and Jamal will touch on that. We have to be mindful of routing, right, to not disrupt, families and schools, and to really be in touch with our neighbors. So routing is always can be, a challenge, but we're constantly at work in communication with different agencies, different communities to make sure that we're doing our best on the routing piece. Again, and Jamal will touch on that. And a lot of the technology, which you'll see in this presentation, is very safe. It's underground. It's been used. So we haven't had concerns. I mean, people might express concern, but it's all an educational process. We do not have major concerns. This project is very much vetted across the board with deep, engagement and research and science backing it. So I'll pass it over to Jamal, and you'll see some of the things that arise and how we educate folks and engage on these issues.
Okay.
All right.
Jamal.
It's a pleasure to be here with you guys again. I think this is now my third time actually being here in front of your board in some capacity with this project. So my name is Jamal Wilkerson. I am with New York Transco. I'm a manager of communications and public affairs with New York Transco working on the Propel project. So as you can see from the mapping here, it's three connecting ties to Long Island and state grid. It's a 90-mile transmission project, as Philip was stating. which also brings in 6 new 345 kV lines and 1 new 138 kV line. The one thing that is really special about this project is it's bi-directional. So basically, if the Bronx needs more power, say over the summertime when heat can be at its worst, and so forth. If the Bronx needs more power, they're able to transfer more power to the Bronx. If Westchester needs more power, they're able to then transfer the power into Westchester. Right now, New York City as a whole, and New York State actually as a whole, is at max capacity when it comes to actually having electricity. Meaning that there's more EVs, there's more things, as Philip was talking about earlier. So with this is going to help hopefully stop any of the brownouts or the blackouts in some cases in some areas. I was talking to New Rochelle, for example, and they said the wind blows hard, it knocks out power on Monroe's campus. So stuff like that is what we're looking at, the resiliency and the redundancy to actually stop that from happening with this project. Now, this project is going to go through Nassau County, Suffolk County, Queens, the Bronx, and Westchester counties. It will help with creating the backbone, the resilient backbone for the grid. Now, the greater system reliability, resiliency, and redundancy is really key. And the construction we're looking at starting in September of 2026 and going to 2030. The goal is to bring it in operation by May of 2030. Next slide real quick, please. Now, as we were talking about routing and what are can be some of the issues, is at the end of the day, we're trying to figure that out fully and have what the final route looks like. Right now, it's all preliminary when it comes to the routing maps. Because they can change up, but that's because we've also heard feedback, not just from community, but also we've been in have conversation with MTA, with Con Edison, with DOT, and so forth. Parks Department, of course. Again, these conversations have happened within this 2 years. To get this actually going, because this is a major utility project that at the end of the day benefits all of us. Because personally, I like having lights on in my house and in my apartment and so forth. So I'm pretty sure all of you do too. And blackouts, I went through 2003 blackout, and having to walk from Manhattan to Brooklyn was not a fun thing for me. So rather try to avoid all that as more things are coming online. Excuse me. So we're looking at the routing currently. We are in preliminary routes have been filed, which is the Article 7 process, as well as the viable alternative routes and preferred project routing. So we'll get back to where that is at within step 2 and step 3. Right now, that's where we're at currently. Next. Alrighty. So the routing in the Bronx currently looks like this. Going through it's 4 miles as a whole, going through Castle Hill, Unionport, Morris Park, Parkchester, Pelham, Parkway, Van Ness, and Westchester Square. Again, this is preliminary totally. And also we will send the copy of this this program over to you guys at the end. We'll send it on over. You can take a look at it yourselves and so forth. So we'll email it on over to the community board. Next. So as we were just talking about the routing continuously, so we're looking at viable alternatives 1 and 2, which is the brown and yellow line. It would avoid congestion of the existing infrastructure along Zariga Avenue. There's also possible a viable alternative, which is in the black. It avoids Ferry Point Park, recreational areas, temporary construction impact, limited to access roads, maintains buffer areas within the Whitestone Bridge, reflective of the feedback from New York City Parks and the MTA. So again, these are the alternatives that we are looking at. as we move forward with this project. We will end up coming up on one, but that goes up on that's because of the engineers. They will decide ultimately which way is the best route to go. Again, it was with the feedback from MTA, from Parks Department, and other community members like yourselves. Next, please. Now, when it comes to the underground construction part, we will be going at least 5 to 6 feet deep. It all depends also on how the different areas. So some places might go a little deeper than others, depending on where the utility is. But ultimately, we will restore the road surface. We'll restore the road bed. We will backfill our conduit power cables and thermal backfill or concrete. So we'll be going about 100, anywhere between 50 to 150 feet per day. And even though this is a 4-year project, we're not staying in any one area for 4 years. So the entirety of the project is 4 years, but we're trying to be in and out of different sections throughout this project ASAP. We're trying to make sure that we are not being too inconveniencing, because I understand what it's like to actually have wake up one morning and there's a project right outside your door, which is also why we're making sure that the community boards are well notified that this is happening, and we will tell you when the construction date actually happens, when that's going to take place once we have the final alignment of when that might take place. Right now, we're not sure, but ultimately we will stay being in touch with you guys. Next. Now, when it comes to some of our trenching technology, we're looking at horizontal directional drilling, HDD. So it's trenchless technology used since the 1970s to install underground utilities. Basically, the goal is to avoid disruption of sensitive areas. It's planned in various propel routing areas. So as you can see here, it can go underneath water depending on how deep the water is and so forth, and come out onto the other side. So when we're going through certain areas, as we're looking at like Westchester Creek, for example, we are looking at doing trenchless technology as we move forward. Next. Alrighty. So we're currently in the Article 7 process. It's a 2-year process where we are making sure that we are notifying our key stakeholders, which is local, state, and federal officials, municipal boards, community boards, neighborhoods and residences like yourself, community groups, NGOs, business, as well as labor. In this project, we'll use labor unions' help when it comes to the construction of this project. The construction and restoration, it will take about, again, 3 to 4 years. The estimated start is next year, 2026. And the goal, again, is to bring it in service in May of 2030. Next slide, please. Now, the Article 7, you can find that online. Basically, it is the rules that we have to follow when it comes to the permitting. So we have currently have our application review has been reviewed and has been deemed complete. There have been different public statement hearings, which is held by the PSC, which is the Public Service Commission. After that, environmental management and construction plans have to be filed. So obviously you'll be able to look those up. Environmental management plan and construction plans have to then be reviewed and approved, and then notices to proceed for the construction. Now, you can find it online. The case number is right here with 24T0446. If you actually have some time, you can look through all 6,000 plus pages and 15 exhibits. Now, there is an environmental review that has been done, engineering components. It puts out there proposed routing and public outreach that we have continuously done, as you see us being in front of you now. Next slide, please. Now, One of the things I personally liked before I came on board to join Propel and New York Transco is the fact of the outreach that they had been saying that they wanted to make sure that we did, and we have been doing that, and we're going to continuously do that even when the construction starts. We've done different open houses as well as hit 680 homes and businesses and targeting door-to-door canvassing expeditions out there. We've had 2,800 plus touch points. We've also done 29 currently community tabling events as well. And we're just really trying to make sure that we're touching base on with everything that we can. We have a 1-800 number. We have the info at Propel. We have propelnewyorkenergy.com. And then you can also find us on social media. So all these different things are so we can try to make an impact and let people know what's going on, so nobody's waking up one morning wondering what's going on with this project. Next slide, please. Now here we also have created some fact sharing sheets. A lot of times you have folks that think they know, but they don't know. So what we figured out was education is really obviously the key to success here. So we have fact sharing sheets where we can go over EMF, we can go over community safety, myth busting, and so forth. So, and this along with the state of the grid. So we want to make sure that are fully educated on what's going on. Again, none of this technology is new. Look at Manhattan, for example, all their power lines, all their transmission lines are underground. They're not above ground. That's why you don't see any like utility poles in Manhattan like that, because a lot of it is underground. So this is same technology that Manhattan used, but we're going to continue it throughout the entire state. Continue. Next slide, please. Alrighty. So just to show that we've been doing our due diligence, we have reached out to the IBEWs, Local 3s, Bronx Chambers, who have also given us support and have backed this project as well. The Bronx Borough President's Office, Queensborough President's Office. We have the Westchester County Executive. We have the Citizens Campaign for Environment. We also have the Bronx River Alliance, the Sierra Clubs, South Shore Auburn Society, Queens Climate Protect Project. So all these environmental groups and sustainability groups understand the necessity and have also backed this project as well, and we have also received 76 formal letters to date, as well as support from over 1,000 plus groups, as you can see here, and different community boards, Bronx Community Board 10, Youth Justice Peace, and so forth, have also backed this as well. So next slide, please. And here I will let Leah from WSP take it away.
Thanks, Jamal. Hi, everyone. My name is Leah Kostick. I'm with WSP, the engineering firm supporting the New York Power Authority and New York Transco on this project. I work in the outreach space, and one of the things I help with is our energy workshop. So the purpose of this energy workshop is to educate high school students on really how energy gets to their doorsteps, like we talked about today. So energy systems, energy constraints, New York State's energy history, and future. So this is a 3-hour program, but it's based on schools and other programs, availability. It could be 1 to 3 hours with a class size of usually around 10 to 30 students. So we bring in our project experts. So that could be engineers, that could be people in the outreach space, that could be environmentalists, all of these individuals to talk to students about the material, but also answer any questions about essential skills in their field, opportunities, and anything in the middle. So we start with a presentation going over energy itself, and then we jump into activities that can be chosen by the organization or school. So that's a Jeopardy based on the presentation, an electric grid mapping simulation, which is very fun. It's basically where students become their own energy engineers and build their own electric grid, trying to fill in the spaces where there's energy constraints. And then we have an energy footprint calculator where students calculate their daily energy use as a team, and we talk about ways in which we can inform and educate the community on energy systems. They walk away with a resource with all the information they learned today, a sticker that says they completed the program, and then some candy for the winner of these activities. We did complete a successful first run over the summer with our PTech students. So that's an internship with NIPA. It's for students studying technology. They were very engaged, a lot of healthy competition. And right now we're currently talking to schools and organizations along the route to see if they have any interest in partnering with us to do the program. So that's just one of the many ways that we educate with educate the community on energy systems.
And I'll close us out in our final two slides here. We appreciate your presence with us and allowing us to present. What you see here is as an extension of what Jamal said um, uh, about early, often engagement and continuous engagement and different ways that we're engaging and educating and communicating. Right? It's a matter of two-way communication. So we're trying to do our best to set up different means of two-way communication. So what you see is our mobile app that we launched somewhat recently that's been well received, and you can see people can download it on the Apple Store and the Google Play. Facebook, we have a Facebook page. We've created quarterly webinars that bring experts to educate on different parts of the project. Because again, I don't think what we're doing is closing the gap in educating in schools, but sometimes we don't really get this education about the electric grid, even though it's so vital, right? So we're finding ways to educate people about this process and about aspects of energy and transmission lines. And we have quarterly newsletters and we have a project video, right? So it's just two-way different means of communication and getting information out there, shall I say. On our last slide. And I'm going to bring us back to the core elements that you should walk away with when you think about the transmission project that is the public-private partnership Propel New York Energy, and why we are doing this and the value of it. Right? It's about powering our lives. It's right, it's strengthening our core infrastructure for vibrant communities and economic growth. And that's really transmission is the backbone of energy delivery, right? It is the electric highways, right? Moving power from where it's made to where it is used. And in this instance, it's really dynamic that we can move energy bi-directional, both ways where we need to, right? It's essential in our daily life. Our lights, our cell phones, our appliances, our EVs. When we think about our refrigerators and keeping our food, and we think about the seniors, right? Like energy is so key to our daily lives. Vital for communities, homes, hospitals, schools, jobs, and currently our grid, our electric grid and our transmission is under duress. It's an aging system. You all heard the 1980s is when this came online, right? And so the demand is growing and the weather is intense. We see it. We feel it, and we need to be mindful of our grid and take care of our grid and expand it so that we can deal with the different changes of our weather and keep energy going and reliable. There's the need for modernization was mentioned. We're power hungry. The energy demand is going to grow drastically. 50 to 90% is expected growth over the next 20 years. So how do we deal with that? And this is one of the ways that we deal with that. And it's a safe and proven technology. To your question, it was a great question. Obviously, we care about people's health, but the science shows, the study shows there's no health and safety concerns in more than half a century of use of dense residential networks, as Jamal mentioned. Transmission lines are all under Manhattan. They're all we're putting them underground at other places to really be mindful of the changing weather. And it's just about supporting economic growth. Every dollar invested yields $2.40 in economic activity. And the permitting and approval process is a public process, right? And it includes local voices and priorities. We've come to this board with Jose a number of times, and we will continue to do so. And we are engaging so many different stakeholders: business, community, school, government, agency, community members. It's a really rigorous process, as it should be, to make sure that we're doing right and we're engaged in the community. So with that, we close on the last slide is we'll make sure that, Dear asked for, we'll share out an email, the presentation. And what you can do is you can connect with us. You can find us. We're not hard to find. We are have multiple different websites and channels of communication, toll-free number, the mobile app, the Twitter. No, we don't have Twitter, but well, X. Yes, we're on X now. We're on Instagram. We have a LinkedIn page. We have a Facebook page, and we have an email. And so we really appreciate taking the time and to present and talk to you. And then we thank you, and we are open for any questions if need be. We know we were mindful of your time and your night.
Hi, before we go to the team in the office, just very quickly, I want to give everyone a little bit of background. As Philip just mentioned, the team has been to the community board. I believe this is your third go round with us. Most recently, I believe, was back in September. And you know, we were asked for a letter of support. At that point in time, we couldn't accommodate the request because we didn't have a quorum. And so for our team in the office, the reason I asked Jose to set this up for today is because since your last presentation to us, our Parks Committee and the Sanitation Committee combined into one big committee. And I didn't want to put the pressure on the people in the office today to vote on a letter of support on something they were completely, oblivious to. So thank you for taking the time to come back to us again. And thank you to the folks in the community board office for sitting through it again if you already saw this before. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for
Not a problem.
Yeah. We couldn't use a little energy on the heat in here. It's like freezing.
Oh no.
Hold on a second. But did you start any of this? Has any of this gone into motion yet?
No, construction hasn't started. If that's what you're talking about. No, right now we're still going through some of the permitting and so forth. So that's where we're at currently. But we have not started construction yet. That will not start until next year.
Okay, because I just say that because all our streets are getting torn up this way, that way, every way from Sunday for Con Ed. So now you're saying when you get this done, then you're gonna tear it up too?
Unfortunately, we will have to tear it up to get underground and place the cables, but we're also working with other utilities to find out where they're placed, and seeing also what timelines certain other agencies are working on as well. So, but we don't have a direct time to say, hey, we'll be there XYZ just yet. Like I said, we'll come back to the board and let you know when we would start in the Bronx. So we're not sure when that would be.
So all streets that have the power above, you're gonna put them all below?
The streets that we named, that's in the mapping is what we're looking at placing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And I noticed on your corridor, like you had a Tremont substation, Springbrook, and New Rochelle. Are those places pinpointed for those substations?
Yes.
So where are those three places exactly?
They will go into those substations. Again, we're not sure what the timing is on that, but that's where they will end up.
So they're not places yet. They're projected.
They are projected, yes, but there are some that's like Tremont already has a substation there. It's just feeding it into that substation, for example.
Yeah, just it's like it's an upgrade to the existing addition, an upgrade to the existing infrastructure of that is there.
Okay, so like the Springbrook one will be near the reservoir. Those lines that are near the reservoir. And Springbrook.
Yeah, could you do me a favor and go back?
Yeah, we might have to go back to the.
So I can see what she's. Perfect.
Yeah. I see, yeah, it says Springbrook Substation, New Rochelle Transition Vaults.
Yes, that'll be new. Those will be underground. That's new. There's existing ones currently, so as well. So like the Shore Road is an existing and new, so we're adding to it. Then there's the existing that's already there. Like I said, is Treedmont substation. So that's already created and built out. That's existing, as well as the Springbrook substation is already existing.
So you just said Tremont's already existing. Where is that on Tremont? Because Tremont's quite long.
Let's see. Let's see the next slide. Treatment. Yeah. That's right. East Treatment, existing substation, right by
It's Baker.
Matthews Avenue.
I believe around Baker Avenue, Unionport Road, and East Tremont.
Is it where the Con Edison one is?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
That's theirs. That's correct. But
Okay. It's I don't know. I trying
Okay,
to see.
does Dear have Dear, your hand is up?
Yeah, I was just gonna let Debbie ask all her questions, but
Got it.
I do have a couple.
Yeah, Dwayne's got.
Yeah, I think this is more for Leah. I just wanted to extend on Joe's earlier question in regards to the associated health risk from an EMF standpoint, particularly within residential areas. Do you have any studies or documentation that you could share with us just to educate and lessen our fears? I do recall I have cases of over 640 kVs. And it's only within 5 or 6 feet beneath the ground encased. So if you could share that with us, it would certainly help us in providing your support.
that is not a problem. We do have one of our myth busting informationals on that. So we will send that over to you as well. That is not a problem.
And as a follow-up from an MPT standpoint with the DOT, that will be shared with us prior to any planned interruptions or installations?
Yes, we'll let you know. We will let you know when we are going to be there, and we'll basically let you know when we're in the Bronx, and we'll let you know when we'll be in certain areas within the Bronx.
Okay.
Jackie's got a question.
So how is that going to be affected with the Van Nest and the Metro North? Because those are pretty close. Is there going to be some sort of issue between those two and the building timeline, I guess, as well? Because it seems like they're all going to be done at around the same time period.
Yeah, we are having conversations with, like I said, the MTA and Metro North and so forth, just to see what that looks like. So our engineers are actually talking to one another.
Okay, but is there going to be an effect with both of them being built at the same time? Because I'm assuming there's going to be some ground disruption for both of them. And what type of ground disruption will there be? Are there going to be explosions? Are they going to be digging? Like, how is this?
This is regular utility. This is regular utility infrastructure. The same way when you see Con Edison underground now, and they're doing work. So the same type of utility infrastructure project is how this would be going. So just same underground.
I would imagine that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Groundhog's Day of them taking underground.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a mess because both of them are going to be happening at the same time.
You would hope.
Yeah.
Well, technically, that if it's at the same time, it gets over a lot quicker than having to redig. So again, us having conversations with them is not a bad thing. That's actually a good thing to see what their engineers come up with in ours. So, but we will continually look into that, and so we can come back to you of what that timeline looks like between the two. So we can look into that. That's not a problem.
Oh, true.
Dia, you got a question?
Yeah, I got three. The first question, I might have missed it in the presentation, but what's the overall cost of this project? And if I heard you correctly, it's being covered by New York State and Transco, which is a subsidiary of Con Ed. So just if you could tell me those numbers, or just give me a little bit more info on that.
So this is a $3.24 billion project that's happening. This is a ratepayer funded project. So that means
Oh, it
everybody
is.
that pays,
Okay.
yes. So everybody that pays a utility bill pays into doing this. So that means myself included. So,
Is there
and
a,
what was your,
I'm sorry.
So just with that, energy costs are really high. I don't know if they're essentially higher in the Bronx than anywhere else, but I know as a resident, it's frustrating, and it just continues to, costs continue to rise. And so is there any estimate on how this particular project will alleviate cost for all of Bronx residents, and given that it's going to be supplying energy to the rest of the city, or other parts of the city, what and how it might alleviate costs for them?
well, from our understanding is that within 10 years, it would take about 10 years for you would see certain costs to go down
So for
with
10
this.
years, costs it will either stay the same or continue to increase.
Well, at the end of the day, we don't control that part,
It's
period.
just a question. It's just a
But
question.
yeah, no. Hey, listen, you asked the question, I'm gonna give you the answer that I have.
Okay.
So that's not a problem. But no, and I'm a straight shooter, so nobody can say,
I
hey, he didn't say
appreciate
no.
that.
That's the one thing, whether you like the answer or not. We know that the project has to be done, yes, but at least you can say, hey, Jamal was a straight shooter, and he told us. So at the end of the day, it is still it takes about 10 years for the cost to actually either will end up being flat or it will go down. We're looking at the cost going down. And Lord knows I would love the cost to go down personally. So that's where we're at. But I cannot tell you how much that would be. Since this is just since we don't control the energy, that part is Con
Yes.
Edison, and then the energy grid is controlled by the NISO, which is the New York Independent System Operator. They control that part there.
Okay.
And the PSC regulates Con Edison. So the regulators that keep.
Yeah. But
I just have a quick question
Understood.
from AI. Is a lot of this energy coming from offshore energy, or where's it coming from?
Unfortunately, offshore has now been stopped. For when it comes to transmission lines, anything that can create electricity can go on an electric transmission line, but it has to be able to generate that. So, like Niagara, for example, that's hydroelectric. So we're looking at hydro being part of coming online with this as well. So, but whatever generates that, unfortunately, we were hoping and very hopeful for the wind technology and the wind and so forth. But right now, we know that's on pause with due to the federal government.
I have one more question too, if you didn't have another one, Matt. Leah, this question is for you. Given the school programming, is there a cost associated for you to go into schools?
No.
And how do schools sign up? How far in advance do they need to sign up? What capacity does your team have to, like, how often can you go into schools per week? Uh, like that kind of thing. Can you give me just more information on uh, how schools and how many schools you might be able to support? And is it
Yeah.
just high school?
Yeah. So just high school, because this information is a little technical. But right now, so we're just communicating with schools about this, and we would love to come in and work with organizations and schools. It's completely free. Depending on the amount of students that are there, it would determine how many experts we should bring in. We would prefer to come in, for the full 3 hours and do all of our activities, but we can also come in for 1 hour. We can also come in for 2 hours. We could also do like a day of an hour and a half and a day of an hour and a half to do the full programming. So if you want to connect with Phil, Jamal, and myself, we can share information and maybe connect more about this because we would love to discuss it.
Question? Yeah, question. This may be for Phil or Jamal. earlier it was mentioned or spoke about redundancy. Is that in regards to augmenting Con Edison's grid and not necessarily your own independent grid?
Oh. Con Edison owns distribution in New York City. So I don't know if Jamal, if you want to just a clarity point, but if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, no. So yeah, the grid is not Con Edison's grid. Like Phil said, it's technically it's ultimately the grid for New York State and New York City and so forth. So it's not a Con Edison owned grid. Just the distribution system where we get our electricity is Con Ed. But it's not a Con Edison grid ultimately. So that's why the NICO put out that report stating that the grid, which is under their control, at the end of the day, is at max capacity. Even though we get our gas or electricity from different places, right? You have Con Ed, you have National Grid, and so forth. So a lot of that can we're still jammed up at the end of the day. So we're trying to help with alleviating that congestion that's on the grid.
Yeah, if you were to put on more solar in certain places, etc., the grid's congested. You're not getting efficient energy and so forth. So even if you wanted to put on healthier, more renewable resources, or whatever type of energy source, there's real bottlenecks and constraints here for the grid.
I'm good.
That's it. Okay, all right.
Appreciate all your questions and all the concerns. We're mindful of your time. I know we you have our information. We're happy. We'll be back if you'd like us back. We'll be back. You'll see us again. Understand questions and concerns around cost energy. We're all experiencing energy prices going up and so forth. So we understand that, and we're mindful of how we're trying to do to be most. We were like really the most cost effective option that was out there in terms of doing this. That's why we were.
I definitely appreciate this information because I'm one of the people that was from the Parks Committee and was not in any of your prior stuff. So this is all kind of new to me. So I appreciate all the information.
Yeah, and you'll get some more.
Yeah,
That's okay. So learn.
Like I said, we'll be in touch the entire way of this project.
And you want
and you can
to email this presentation to the board so we can share within the rest of the board?
100%. We'll send it on over.
I know.
Absolutely. Like you said, Leah joined us with the education piece. De'Ara's point around education. We're talking to different folks. De'Ara knows I was talking to even the point, recently. So just follow up with us, and we're happy to figure out how do we get embedded and play a role, educational role.
Page that you had the people that are supporting you and all of that. You mentioned CB10. Besides CB11 and CB10, what other community boards in the Bronx have you reached out to?
Off the top of my head, was it CB9 or Jose?
9 sounds about right if you were talking Zariga.
Yeah, it's 9. That's correct.
Okay. All right.
Questions from the gallery?
And just a final question. So you got the support, you got a letter of support from CB10. I wasn't paying attention to, every single name on that last slide. Do you know if you got one from CB9?
Let's see, CB10.
I know you got the borough president's office.
Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of Bronx stakeholders, right? You have Bronx Borough President's Office, CB10, a number of the nonprofits or environmental justice advocates like Bronx River Alliance, Youth Ministries, Peace and Justice. We have Bronx Health System. We also have Amanda Farias, the New York City council member and majority leader, supporting the projects. The Bronx Chamber of Commerce is supporting the Bronx Economic Development Corporation is supporting the project. and so yeah, there's a number of folks. We can attend that list. Citywide electeds are obviously also in the public advocate and et cetera in the mayor's office. So we absolutely can. When you share the presentation, you can see a number of the folks in the SBH health systems in the Bronx is also supporting the Monty4 is supporting the project as well.
And these are just and just as a reminder, these are just official letters of support. We have to go back anyway to Community Board 9. There was a couple of difficulties over there, so we're going to be going back over there to have another conversation with them as well and presentation. So
Okay, thank you, I appreciate that.
not a problem.
Okay, all right, so now we're gonna continue on our agenda. Friends of Loretto Playground. Who here is for, let me see, I see a hand waving. Marcus?
Yes, Marcos. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi, how you doing?
Awesome. Thank you for having me here. This is exciting.
So, what's this Friends of Loretto Playground? Please explain yourself and your project.
All right. In a nutshell, I'm just trying to. Me, my daughter, and my wife, we go to the park often, and pretty much every time I'm there, I'm disappointed or I'm complaining about something. And we decided, you know what? Let's do something. Let's just not, talk the talk. Let's do it. So we decided to come up with this idea, and mainly have the community more involved in making Loretto Park better, whether it be cleaning it up or advocating for it to make it safer, cleaner. So came up with this idea, wanted to engage more with the community and just mobilize and get it going to make it a successful project.
So, like this, all right,
So right now it's an idea. It's in the very beginning stages. I emailed a few offices and community organizations. They got back to me and they set us up with a meeting with the Parks Department counterparts to discuss how this works and just to kind of get more detailed information. And hopefully between 4 to 6 months timeline, we can officially hopefully start something and commit to park projects like cleanups, painting, and then hopefully down the line, more and more advocacy as the community gets more and more involved, and hopefully Friends of Loretto Playground expands and grows. We can be a full um, conservancies in order to make more enhancements and projects with that park.
are you, I'm trying to find the words. Are you
I am
actually
green. I am all green to this. This is my first time tackling on a project like this. We've been saying we wanted to do something for years. And, we moved to Morris Park 2 years ago, but we've been in the Bronx all our lives. And so we're going to be here for a long time. So we want to help. We want to be a part of the community. Um, and this is just one way that we thought that would benefit. And I'm pretty excited my daughter's pretty excited to be a part of it too. She's labeled herself chief cheerleader. So remember, that's her title.
all right, so what I'm trying to ask is, you're saying cleaning up and this, that, the other. Are you doing any of this now, like on your own? Like I know a gentleman in the Throgs Neck area. He was sick and tired of seeing people throwing garbage here, throwing garbage there. Anybody, I guess to say he put his money where his mouth is, type of thing. He got trash bags, he got a picker upper thing, and he went out there cleaning. It was just him. And he was putting things on Facebook. And then, somebody else was like, I can help you. So it went from one person to two people to you know, it kind of grew, but
Mm-hmm.
they're just doing it. You know, so are you going in Loretta Playground with a picker up and a garbage bag and cleaning up? I know a woman in, I think she's in the confines of CB9, Milka. I've helped her paint park benches in some parks that needed a freshening up. Have you done any of that yet?
No, I wanted to think bigger. I don't want to be a one-man show. If I can somehow mobilize a whole community to do it, and be a part of it and take ownership of it, that's more my goal, because it's not just cleanup. There's advocacy involved, and there's always strength in numbers. So in order to do that, I need to get the community involved as far as volunteering, cleaning up. I work in Queens, and I volunteer as a New York City police officer, as an auxiliary officer. I've been part of many graffiti paint ups, cleanups, and community events on that aspect, on that side, only because it's easier for me to commit to the volunteer hours since it's so close to work. So I'm not a stranger to volunteering, but I just think differently, and I wanted to see if we can get this launched and partner up with the right people to do it.
So I'm gonna just interrupt really quickly. Camelia asked for a little bit of background, which you just gave us. And just a reminder that for any formal event or cleanup at Loretto Playground, um, a permit is needed. So doing things kind of on your own would be unpermitted. So we have to be careful. What
Cynthia,
else?
you need a permit to pick up garbage?
No.
Doing a formal cleanup event at the park or even painting a park bench at the park without a permit, those kinds of things those are not allowed.
Yeah, maybe
So,
the park bench, yes, I agree on that, but,
okay.
okay.
All right. So there was a question from Diana Finch, and the only reason I'm reading these from the chat is because they won't be able to really ask these questions in gallery. So, have you reached out or been connected to Partnerships for Parks yet? That's an organization that assists community groups to care for their parks and playgrounds, etc. And okay, I think that's basically the questions. All right. So yeah, Marcos, yes,
Yes.
if you want to chime into any of that.
I don't know her title, but I believe she is the liaison for this kind of project specifically with Friends of Loretto. I mean, or Friends of Parks. Um, we've been emailing. We had a meeting set up this morning, but she couldn't make it, so we're gonna reschedule for next week. So that's in the works. I've I've had the handbooks from the National Parks um, organization that also deals with this type of connections, and they also offer some online training. I've been getting and gathering all the information. It's not something that I want to just start next week. It's doing this, getting to know the community, letting the community know me, and and learn from folks who've already done it, and just springboard and just keep going and make it stronger, and see where it goes.
So
Okay.
I will say, just for the committee, in case you weren't aware, Marcos has been, via email with myself and with Camelia with the Morris Park bid, who we know is like, an unofficial sort of local steward of Loretto Playground. So yeah, it's nice to meet you, and hopefully we can get cracking on something.
Sounds good. I'm excited about it. Thank you.
Marco, someone asked if you wanted to give your contact info, if you were comfortable with that. If you're not, like if you have an email maybe that you want to use and put that in the chat, you can start with that.
Yep.
You
So
know,
as of now, originally I set up the Friends of Loretto Park at gmail.com. I'll be using that, and then I'll connect it. And once we change it up to Friends of Loretto Playground, So for now, you can email me at friendsoflorettopark@gmail.com.
You got that, dear? Thank you.
Good job. Give me a pass of hand.
All right, okay, Camilla, you got your hand up?
Thank you so much, Debbie. Yes, just wanted to say, you guys, it's how to say, this has been a project on my agenda for years. Really, we actually had like a first attempt to start something with a former CB11 member with Natalie Medina, I think it's her second name. Anyway, we didn't go very far, and then she stepped out of CB11. And I just want to say, very seldom it happens that the member of the community approaches a project like this in the appropriate way, with honesty, humility, and also with a very clear sort of intent of partnership, right? And in 7 years of the Morris Park been doing work at Loretto, we have so little community participation. So this person came to us, said, this is me, he reached out to CB11, he reached out to the bid, we introduced him to Partnership for Parks. He's very responsive. It is very clear that he's approaching this with very positive intent, with the willingness to partner with everybody. So again, for all of us, however we can help, let's what he wants to do is do work. So let's welcome that. We are missing hands. Really, Loretto Park became, over the last couple of years, clearly the sort of social center of the community. It's growing a lot. The new field is attracting a lot of youth. There are also issues with that. So again, the more eyes of responsible people on it, the better. And there's plenty of areas of work. So I'm just urging the Parks Committee and CB11 overall to kind of approach it with a supportive attitude. And Marcos, I'm looking forward. I'm just seeing his face, just for everybody know. We don't have any pre-existing relationship. I'm seeing his face right now for the first time. And Marcos, thank you for this, and looking forward to also meeting in person. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I'm in, Marcus. This is Christina Stevens. I'm in. Good job.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, so we're moving on to the gallery session. I know. All right. What? Okay. So we're going to gallery session. I don't know about any pre-registered. You don't got anything to speak of, right? You don't got, all right. So anybody's online. So who online wanted to speak in the gallery session? Please raise your hand, please. Oh, she's covered. Dear, is your hand up to speak in the gallery? Or you forgot your hand up?
You didn't take it down.
No, I didn't take it down.
I see Diana's hand went up. Okay, Diana, you got 2 minutes, starting now.
Sure, just to say to Marcos, I think that's great that you're starting this group. And our community association, Bronx Park East Community Association, we do a lot in the parks. We're not just a friend of parks group or friend of a playground group, but because we live very close to two, we do a lot. And I would definitely recommend Partnerships for Parks. I mean, that's their job, to liaise with community groups that want to work in their park or playground. And they can help you connect to the Parks Department, find out things for you from the Parks Department, get you materials to do cleanups. One thing we found with cleanups is that you go out with maybe a small group of people who've committed to do it, and then lots of people just appear and join in, especially the kids. They love to help clean up. And Partnerships for Parks also has a lot of workshops that teach you how to organize a group, how to grow a group, how to apply for funding, for grants. There's lots of different kinds of grants that are directed at parks groups. So it will be fun, and it will just, grow naturally.
I hope so. Yep.
Yeah.
That's the goal. And that's, clean up and getting people involved. Just to give you
And
one
Partnerships
example
for
of what,
Parks also helps you do events, like get puppet shows to come to the park, or a movie to come to the park, or if you want to host some kind of festival.
that'd be
All
great.
right.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna reach out to them and work with them.
All right, thank you.
Great.
Marcos, Janice, the chair of this committee just came in, and she wanted to know, what is your last name?
What's your full name?
Quintana.
Quintana?
Quintana.
I'm sorry, repeat that. Quintana. Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Okay, I don't, anybody else wanted to speak in the gallery session? No hands being seen. I'm going to,
Ilya raised her hand.
Camilla. All right,
Yeah,
go
no,
ahead.
just to announce, Debbie, that so we will have hopefully tomorrow our holiday tree installation is getting finalized. There were crews on site yesterday and today, but it was a little bit tricky with the weather. But otherwise, all of you are welcome to join us on Friday after 4 p.m. at the formal holiday Loreto Morris Park holiday tree lighting, and we will have a choir of kids singing, also a Santa and Grinch and positive energy for everybody. And Matt, if nothing else, the next event for sure on our end will be 4th edition of Morris Park Earth Day over in April. But maybe, who knows, with your support, we'll do something even until then, like before then, early spring. So just to flag it. Thank you.
You said the tree lighting is at 4 p.m. this Friday?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I was, that's exactly what I was gonna ask. Okay. All right, all right. Seeing no more hands, is there a motion we'll pass doing, or are we absorbing in?
Motion for the letter of support, or for Propel, if you're ready, if the committee.
Are we ready?
Go ahead. Sure.
You're ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you ready?
Looking for a letter of support.
To go, yeah. I wanted to see some of
She can make the motion, whether we second it or not, it's up to us, but
Well, no, I mean,
I'm
are
for it.
you ready?
To make
The motion?
about.
About. Because it's new to us, I'm just absorbing that now.
So we don't have to proceed unless somebody, I don't feel like we have to proceed before the motion of a letter of support. Right now, it's
Yeah,
time to absorb
yeah,
the presentation and, talk to other board members just to get a conversation going. I don't think that's.
yeah, I don't think we need
Yeah, we
to
can't.
do that
we
motion
can't pass-
because it's
We can
just,
pass it on.
yeah, it's too new to.
Yeah, we can give it. to
Eventually.
you, so we can agree to give it to the board.
Right. Yeah.
Well, so
Go-
just in terms of procedure, just a reminder. So they came and they presented in committee last year, back in September. I know you're not fully aware of it. I get it. I'm just giving you the background again. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh, in terms of like sharing with the full board, yes, we'll get the slides to the full board. if it's not voted on in committee tonight, then I guess it'll have to be a discussion again next month. And in that time, the committee can review the materials, whatever, and then put it on the agenda for next month. That's
Yeah,
fine.
we're discussing it more in January because it's too new for a bunch of us.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, I had a comment. Dia, did you have something you wanted to
I
say?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just was. I guess my thought is if I don't. It feels like we're kicking the can down the road. I know that community CB11 has already given a letter of approval. I personally, I like my heart of hearts hate that this is basically payer funded or covered by the ratepayers. But when he mentioned that they were the cheapest option and because they have partnered with New York State, it feels like this. It's like it's going forward. And so I feel like I'm just going to vote yes because we don't really have any other options. Despite the information being new and this being a really, really dense presentation, it feels like this is moving forward. So I don't know. I have all the information I need to just vote yes,
There's four people in this room. What? You had
including
prior?
myself.
Or is it? What did you say?
Today, but I feel okay to proceed, but I was just saying, for those who on this committee, who feels like they need to, I could vote yes or no, right? But if there's people on the committee who feel just not secure, I don't think it's a terrible thing to wait. Given the new leadership and the new committee and just to be like, okay, I've talked, I've slept on it and
Yeah.
vote to vote to move forward.
Yeah, because it's new.
Did want your opinion of, I think this is what the conversation should look like, hey guys, I on this committee feel comfortable enough to make a decision, and these are the reasons why, and I think that type of feedback in this conversation will make this group in totality more comfortable with just making a decision in general. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. And thank you for that, Kadera. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so I say we hold up till January
Yeah, the next.
for the next meeting to make any motion on this.
Yeah,
I know, Cynthia, I know you said they've been to the board, but they've been to four of the people in this room. The other four of us, it's new, we need time to absorb and.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not arguing against it. I'm just saying, like I think that if we're going to discuss it, if we're going to table it for the purpose of discussing it next month, then we should discuss it next month and vote it up or down and just move, and just deal with it. I just don't like us kind of, postponing things, indefinitely, and then 6 months down the road they're still waiting for an answer from us. That's all.
Yeah, it's not a willy-nilly just of kicking it, down the street. It's
No,
just,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
okay.
I support the committee.
Okay. Was there any old business?
Is there anyone here from Parks?
No, he's gone. Oh, wait.
Charles is still here.
Handdress.
Dress.
Yes, in very essence. Charles, Mr. Handris, my question to you is, and I put this question to many people from Parks in the past. If you have funding from the councilman, the state senator, and the who was Cesaro? Assemblyman. The assemblyman for a bathroom in Zimmerman Playground. Why isn't the bathroom included in the renovation, which is millions of dollars?
On two different timelines.
Yeah. Pardon me?
They're on two different timelines.
Why?
Because when they got their funding, they got funded on two different timelines. So that's why one timeline's going ahead and the other one's going right behind it.
I seem to remember something
Yeah.
about the design process as well.
By the bathroom.
I've talked to the current commissioner of parks here at this board for years. At the Parks Department for years. The current Bronx Parks Commissioner about a bathroom, and this is like crazy. Can you explain that to me? Why
I can certainly try. So I'm sorry. I'm just trying to make sure that I understood the question. So you're saying that if funding has been in place, you're talking about the playground bathroom over at Zimmerman Playground, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I will say with a caveat, I don't work on the capital projects team that oversees those sorts of things, so I'm not going to be as intimately familiar with all of the nuts and bolts and the details. But my understanding is that, as was mentioned before, that the when you're talking about the timelines of the funding, right? My understanding is that not all of the funding had been set up at the front end of things. So there wasn't funding for the bathroom at first. And rather than delay the project or risk the funding expiring, they went forward with the capital project for the playground, for the overall playground construction. And then later on, when the funding kicked in for the bathroom, they began that process as a separate one. So my understanding is that there's funding in place now for the bathroom. It's just that the construction has not taken place yet.
Well, we've had, in the past year or so, we've had porta potties in Zimmerman that are not properly taken care of, okay? And, if you're going to use porta potties for the hundreds of people that use this playground every day, I think you need to make sure they are serviced properly on a weekly basis, okay?
Okay, I'll look into it and follow up on the porta potties. Okay.
Just until they fix the bathroom, yes.
Oh, until they.
Yes.
But they've been, how long have there been no bathroom?
Listen, I've been talking to them for 8 years.
So, yeah, long time. Okay, any other old business?
No.
No. No.
Okay, any new business?
Oh.
All right. Then it's 8:40 and I say this meeting is adjourned. Everybody have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and a blessed Hanukkah.
Good meeting, guys. Thank
Goodbye.
Same to you, same to you. I'll talk to you.
Oh, yes. Take care, Junior. We'll talk.
Yes, I'll call.
Have a great holiday if I don't see you.
See you,
Hopefully,
everyone.
The inflammation.
See you at the holiday party on
Take
December
care, everybody. Have
29th.
a good night.
That inflammation.
night.
Bye.
Monthly auto injector for COPD you can do right at home. Picture less flare-up related hospital visits. Nucala is an add-on injection for uncontrolled COPD, a specific marker of inflammation. Nucala is not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur, including anaphylaxis. Get help right away for swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing. Infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop other medicines, including steroids, unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. It may cause back pain, diarrhea, and cough. Right now, it may be time for something different. Ask your doctor about Nucala.
It's the dog park. It's all the dogs there. The people you see, you don't really know because it's the dog park. It's the dog park.
To you by Progressive Pet Insurance.
What are you eating? What are you eating? Open your mouth. It's the dog park.